Hey y'all, I'm Derek, and welcome back to 31 Days of Found Horror. I'm excited. We are exactly 1 week into this show today. Whew. Can you imagine that? And today, our movie looks like it might be interesting. It's by a channel called Interviral Media, and it's called The Rake. So I'm wondering, is it going to be a bunch of people who are hounded by a roguish but good-looking cavalier who is known for his ways with women and wine? Ooh. Or is it more likely they named it that because yard work is scary? Oh well, let's get started. Okay, that was a movie. Wasn't bad. So the providence is that in 2010, 3 kids go into the woods and become missing. You know, at this point I was wondering, wow, maybe these are more clever than I thought, all these found footage films, because a lot of them happen in the woods. Could that be speaking to the scientific belief that people are afraid of deep woods because of an embedded primordial fear of the darkness and whatever's lurking there? Nah, it's more than likely because most woods are on public land and you don't have to have a permit to film there. So we have 3 teenagers, Eric, Logan, and our cameraman Ken, and they decide they're going to pull a Walden. All 3 of them are going to go get a tent and do some hardcore camping in the woods. 1 month, no communication with the outside world or anything. Okay, I'm sorry, but 1 month in the woods with a couple of guys, unless you're doing the Appalachian Trail, you're probably going to get sick of each other. So they go to a camping store to pick up some camping equipment because apparently none of them have ever been camping before, so they don't have a tent. Because they're filming, they get kicked out. Okay, good for the store. So they go to the Dollar Tree to pick up supplies, and that is the thing. They buy canned food, but they don't buy a pot to cook it in. That's kind of short-sighted. And they don't buy a can opener either. Just saying. So they go to the forest and they're carrying nothing but school bags. Because, of course, if you're going to be in the woods for a month, everything you're ever going to need will fit in a school bag. Hope they remember the toilet paper. And the shovel, or the rake. So Ken tells us the lore of this movie. Apparently in these very woods, his grandfather was a logger. And one night when he was coming back from the logging expedition, he hears a scratch and a cry, sounded like a wolf or a dog. And then so he goes into camp and sees a naked man eating out of the cooler. Moo. Okay. Sounds like an old ghost story. So they set up the tent and they go out looking for firewood, and then there's about 30 seconds worth of nothing. Literally 30 seconds of nothing. They wake up at 6 a.m., which they say is really early, and Logan's missing. I was so shocked that something actually happened so quickly into the movie, considering the last few we've seen. Actually, I was quite thrilled that something actually did happen, action-wise, in this movie so quickly. Considering the last couple of movies we saw, nothing happened at all. So Eric and Ken decide to cook breakfast and wait for Logan. After a while, when he hasn't gotten back, they decide to go looking for him. Okay. So what you will want to do, even though you haven't done it yet and you're not going on a trail, is you're going to want to mark trees so that you know if you've been in that area or not. Do they do this? Of course not. Then they hear a scream up the hill and they go even further off the deer trail. And that's a very big mistake. Honestly, Ken, Eric, what you need to do is go and get yourselves some help. You're doing nothing but getting yourselves more lost. You're becoming a statistic too. And at this point, they bring up the fact that they've left all their phones back at the car because they wanted no communication with the outside world for a month. you know, you're going to want to check your Facebook. I'm just saying, we can't live without it nowadays. And you would want to check your YouTube every so often to see if your favorite producer has created a new video. Anyways, they think they're near an abandoned mine because there's always an abandoned mine because trope. So they start heading towards that, thinking that that's where Logan would have gone. And they come across a sketchbook. And they know it's Logan's, and they open it up, and there's a passage in there that Ken decides to read because he has to fill the void of silence. And it says that Logan thinks he's been visited nightly by this creature called the Rake. Ooh. So at this point, they decide the best thing they can do is set up camp again. And so they put the camera down to set up camp, and this was actually a really good shot. While they're putting up the tent, from behind a tree, a creature looks out and then looks away. It was actually really well done. And I have to say, good job, Logan, for finding all that makeup in the woods. Because it's obviously Logan because he's not there anymore. But yeah, the creature looks like, I'd say, if you've ever seen the movie The Unnameable, an H.P. Lovecraft movie, it sort of looks like that, just a little less goatly. So they set up a fire with very poor fire safety. I mean, they don't even dig out a pit or anything. They just literally burn on top of dead leaves. Like, the West Coast hasn't had enough problems with fires lately. And they wake up in the middle of the night because someone is pushing on the tent. Oh, fine, because, you know, Blair Witch did it, so it has to be effective. And so they turn on night vision and they look outside. And they see a thing! Oh my God, it's a thing! We don't know what the thing is, but they see a thing! Oh. That next morning, they decide they're going to leave, which was the right thing to do. They think there's an old mining road nearby, so they're going to find that and use that to get back to the road. Okay, smart. You know there are landmarks nearby and you're going to follow them. Much better than Hulk blood tapes, I have to say. So they head up the mountain. And they hear a scream, and they go into stealth mode. Get right down on the ground. And Ken's continuously talking. So not really stealth mode, more like squat mode. So they realize they're lost, and they have to set up the tent again. So they're setting up the tent, and at night, they hear a scream in the middle of the night. And Eric goes to investigate, because frickin' white people. And Eric goes away. He's gone. But Ken, who never leaves the tent, is perfectly safe. I literally wrote, stay in the tent, it's magic. Because apparently the Rake can't break into the tent. Ooh. The next morning, because Ken's not leaving the tent until the morning, Ken decides to leave. And he's doing this flooded engine cry, you know, when you flooded the engine and you still keep trying to turn it over and it just sounds like, no. In the morning, he's heading out and he hears a scream. So of course he thinks that's the way out and he starts following the scream because freaking white people. I don't mean to run that one into the ground, but it seems to be a habit. And he finds a clearing, he hears a scream again, and he crawls. And he's talking while he's crawling. He's like, I gotta keep low. I'm so scared. I'm so scared. I'm so scared. I don't care if you're scared. If you're scared, let the camera tell us. You don't have to talk all the time. Ken's a bit of a chatterbox. And then the screen goes blank with a little sign that says, the footage cuts out for 35 minutes. And then it shows up again and it's nighttime. So yeah, that's a lot of missing information right there. Did Ken end up going into the mine? It looked like he did. Why did he go into the mine if he was trying to leave? Well, anyways, Ken gets eaten, and that's the end of the movie. I've been critical and making fun of this movie, but honestly, I'm not mad at it. 3 friends got together and made a movie in their backyard, and it was a decent film. There was a setup, there was a beginning, there was a middle, there was an end. It was a flushed out story. The only thing that got in the way of the story was themselves. The only reason they didn't survive was because they were stupid. That's human nature for you. They did what they could with what they had. Like the fact that the creature doesn't show up till Logan leaves. Every time I saw the creature afterwards, you see him like once or twice. I just was like, oh, hi, Logan. If there is one thing I am a little annoyed about is Ken. Please, Ken, shut up. We don't need to know everything that's on your mind. Oh well. Have you seen this movie before? If so, leave me a message down below. And of course, if you would like to see this movie and see what I'm talking about, it will be linked in the description. That's it for this episode. Thanks for stopping by. Thanks for tuning in. And come back tomorrow for another found footage nightmare.